Good afternoon and welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling. Thank you for watching the video. We're here today discussing last night's WrestleMania Night 2. I'm here joined with Steve today. How are you today, Steve?
Yeah, good, man. I've had some sleep and now it all goes back to normal now.
It's quite an interesting thing. By the time you finish the show, I think I was just starting it. So
yeah, literally, you text me as I was going to bed. That was it. And then you text me like I was still laying in bed, and I could hear my phone going off where you text me about the Randy Orton stuff, and I was like, nah, I'll just wait till the morning to respond.
That's probably safe, to be fair. No, what we're going to do today, we're going to discuss last night's WrestleMania, the fallout, stuff like that. Really kind of a lot to talk about, really interesting. For anybody new that hasn't been here before or watching the video before, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and please obviously subscribe to the channel. But let's kind of start at the beginning. So obviously coming off of a fantastic WrestleMania Night 1, the show obviously starts up. There wasn't the weather problems. Not like I didn't say anything about the weather this time. Did that happen in the kickoff show at all? Because I didn't see the kickoff show. I've got to confess.
Nothing. Like the from a lot of the stuff in the kickoff show, it's kind of the same. It didn't even look like it had rained at all. That was the thing. It was like for a weather day that was supposed to be a lot worse for weather-wise. No, nothing really different. You had people that were more in sort of rain max and stuff like that, but that was it really.
No problem. So the show obviously opens up. We get a great intro package, very similar to last night's one. It was fun. It fills with the whole pirate theme. Did you enjoy the intro tonight to the pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's an intro, isn't it, really? It's not what I'm there to watch. It's just something they can do to get an artist or whatever over. Like, it's the same old thing, unfortunately. The intros don't really bother me. I'm more interested in, like, recap packages and stuff like that. So, like I say, intros are just near.
We've got them plenty, that's for sure, throughout the show. But no, definitely. Going through it then. So I think with it was one of them things where we had a lot to kind of talk about. So the show opens up. We get as you said, the intro. We then obviously get a sort of flashback to Bray Wyatt as the Fiend and Randy Orton. This was the history of the feud. It went on for a while. I felt like I was watching Raw. What were your thoughts of the intro package? It was a good cover up for people who don't watch wrestling, basically. I skipped that, which was like...
you nailed it right on the head there. Yeah, it was just like... It's the same thing they do week in, week out. It's boring as anything else, man, but nothing interesting.
No, nothing. Okay, so we're obviously having this Randy Orton Fiend Bray Wyatt match. So obviously gets out. Randy gets a really good entrance, like really superstar. He looks like a superstar coming out to this entrance. We then end up with Alexa Bliss coming out. She comes out. She's got a different attire this time. She's dressed obviously slightly different. It then ends up kind of with a giant Jack in the Box there. It ends up with Alexa Bliss then kind of she's winding the Jack in the Box. Next thing you know, we then get sort of pyros and stuff like Fiend is then there. He comes out of the Jack and Box. I've missed a step actually. Let me get this correct. So before that, he goes through basically Quantum Leap or something. He basically goes through something. He's now totally healed. So the damage from the fire is totally gone. It is WrestleMania. So there we're back to the Fiend from TLC. He's back now at this Jack in the Box basically. And then we obviously have the match. The match itself is very, very quick. They don't get very long. Fiend dominates most of it. And then from kind of nowhere, we end up sort of in the middle of the match. We get Alexa Bliss sort of come out of the Jack in the Box, but she's got a different thing on. She's got the barbed wire there from Raven and Sandman on her head. Basically, it looks like she's there. It ends up with sort of her gushing sort of black liquid. The black liquid that's been coming out for Randy Orton for a few weeks out of Raw. That was making a cameo, unfortunately. And it then ends up with like obviously Bray was in the middle doing a sister Abigail, and we then end up sort of with the Fiend being morally distracted. We get one RKO, and then Randy gets the win and gets out of here, and then it's just like, what the hell's happened? Looking at this, then for me, I don't know where I begin with this. This was just a mess at many levels. I get the whole cinematography thing of it. I get the sort of fun of it, but then this is a thing that Seth Rollins had to do 7 curb stomps to, but yet it gets buried with one RKO here. What's going on? What's your theory of it, Steve?
I can sum this up with one thing.
Yeah,
just pile of trash, man. Like this built up to be so much, and you've got no excuse. Like I said to you yesterday, why Crispy Fried Fiend is the worst thing they've ever done, and now they've had to go back on it. It's so stupid, man. It's such a the finish was bad. The whole Alexa Bliss becoming Sister Abigail, I presume, is what that's meant to be.
We'll discuss that.
I've no idea what's going on with this booking. I mean, the fact that you had Michael Cole at the start going, "What is that?" and it's obviously a giant Jack in the Box, and you're kind of like, "This is bad from the word go." There's no saving this. I'm just glad it's done, because if this carries on, I'm tuned out already.
What I would say from it, my take-ins of it, obviously the minute we got the Fiend come back as the old incarnation with no real explanation, that instantly put me not in a great mood for this match. I got to admit, I'm thinking like, where's the logic there? Where's the booking? I know this is a bit fairish a little bit, but obviously we get that big announcement. And the interesting thing with it, it's an interesting character for Alexa Bliss. It's certainly something different, but I think this was the Fiend's match really to get the win. This was Fiend's big babyface win. Fiend is a babyface. This is where he should be getting a win. And for me, there will be a lot of layers to the story. I just don't know if I trust WWE to follow this up on Raw tonight and explain, because they haven't explained anything yet. They haven't explained the 2 Randy Ortons. They haven't explained the Black Goo. They've not done anything like that, which it's almost like to me. I don't know if this feud's over as well. It's a bit strange. I know Randy got the win here. Is it going to be a feud between Alexa and Bryan now, with somebody else coming in as part of another match maybe?
I mean, I like I said to you, I reckon this could now be Alexa Bliss is now in control of the Fiend. From someone that was terrified of him and was brought into it like it was some sort of cult, she's now going to basically be in control of him. And I have no clue. So what, he's going to be Alexa Bliss's lackey now? And like, do you know what I mean? If Alexa Bliss is going to try and do anything on the women's side of the roster, is Fiend going to get her to interfere and terrorize her opponents and all this kind of stuff now? It's just bad booking.
I think the thing with it, the only thing I can see that might make any sort of logical sense of it, I think they should drop the Sister Abigail thing, because she can't be Sister Abigail. That they've never really explored that, and I just don't think this is the time to do it. They're not going to be able to explain that really, in my opinion. And what I would do is, clearly it is going to be all about Alexa controlling the Fiend, but you've got to bring in a counterpart to feud with the Fiend. For me, the perfect person's there. He hasn't been on TV for a while. Is Aleister Black. I'd like to see Aleister Black be the counter to the Fiend. Can they build that? I don't know. That's the thing with this. But all I would say is the crowd, they really crapped on it. They booed the minute there was no payoff and no real explanation of the angle you've been building for months and months and months. The fans booed, unfortunately, which I get. I'd be annoyed if I was there. Sure, you'd agree.
I mean, the highlight of this match was Randy's ring gear, because he looked amazing in that white ring gear. Like, white just seemed to be the color tonight. But yeah, otherwise, this was just not a good payoff at all. Like, after yesterday, when you start off with Drew and Bobby, and then you get Fiend and Randy tonight, it's just isn't like you were like, oh, this is going to be a long night.
I think the thing with it as well, the last thing I'm going to kind of say, I'll give WWE that. They got me. I really thought the Fiend was going to win this, so I didn't see that coming. So both the opening matches at WrestleMania, I got one in terms of prediction. Going to quickly go to the comments we got here. We've got one from Get Chow. Yes, if Cole didn't set them up, that's a huge box. Good morning to Get Chow. Yeah, I agree. He couldn't tell what it was, obviously. But there we go. No, definitely it's Michael Cole. So what do you expect? Got one here from Don Mills. What a disappointment that Mania was. There was a lot of good stuff. The first 2 matches were absolutely a car crash, but we'll go into the good. There was more good than bad, I think, on this show.
It progressively got better.
Yeah, it did, 100%. Quickly kind of going forward then. So obviously we have this second match then. This match has obviously been built up from the night before. We've got Natalya, Tamina facing Nia Jax, Shayna. For me, it was okay. There was 1 or 2 good moments. There was a bit where Natalya and Tamina had this Lex Luger Yokozuna moment where she couldn't quite slam her. That was quite nostalgic. That was quite nice to go back to that. But the match itself was kind of a mess. Interesting note, there's no Reginald, so I don't know what the hell happened there. They've been building this guy for months. He nearly cost the Sasha Banks Bianca Belair feud, like the build of that. That storyline seems to have been dropped. No explanation. I don't know why he's not there for the payoff. In the end, though, we do end up with the tag team champions retaining. Furthermore, Natalya got kind of a slight injury in this match by Shayna Baszler. She got a knee to the face, which looked pretty bad. But your tag team champions retain. I'm not surprised. What was your thoughts for the match?
Like I said, there was no point to this match at all. Absolutely no point. Like, the wrong people win last night. In my opinion, the wrong people win tonight. You should have had new tag champs tonight. But it's like we were saying yesterday, is this all really just for the Bellas to come back and take these titles off of them? Because this is really killing your locker room for some Hall of Famers that are going to get one run with the titles, have it for about 3 months, lose them, and then you're never going to see them again. It's really detrimental to the women's division.
I think they've really got to start building some tag teams that are credible. I don't know sort of where they go from there, really. But for me, at this point, I was like, oh, my God, the first 2 matches, the second match just went on far too long. It went on 10 minutes too long for me. I think you'd had a very quick match in the first match, which was about 6 minutes. This went on like far too long. Have you got anything to add before we go to the next kind of match where the show really picks up?
Move on, please, quickly. Let's go on to some good stuff.
This was really, really good. So we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, obviously Logan Paul there. Very fun. A lot of, obviously they made the different entrances. When Logan Paul comes out, he gets booed, which was quite fun. He's meant to be there as a babyface, that the crowd boo him, which I thought was quite entertaining. But looking at this match was a really good epic tale. They really gave Sami Zayn sort of a lot of offense, which made it good. There was loads of good moments here. And for me, obviously Kevin Owens then picks up the win. After the match, we end up getting Logan Paul basically pushing Sami Zayn over. He was meant to sort of punch him, and that got sort of vetoed apparently. It then ends up with Kevin Owens doing the stunner, and then Kevin Owens stands tall, which was the right decision. What were your thoughts on the match?
It was a shame it didn't go longer. Yeah, because this was great. I mean, they sort of milking the fact that apparently it's the first ever takeover match that's had a repeat on main roster or whatever, a pay-per-view event or something. I don't know. So they're banging on about something, but yeah, the match was just really, really good. I mean, you know what these two can do, and yeah, I think they got something like 11 minutes, and it was just like it's not enough for these two, man. These two deserve a lot longer because I'm not being funny. You've had those two matches on previously. If you'd have given these an extra 5-6 minutes, it would have automatically made up for the last two matches. But yeah, I'd say it was just a shame it didn't go longer for me.
I think the spot where we get the Fisherman's Buster off the top ropes, that was incredible. I thought this was so good. I think this was definitely. I'd love to see this again. I know we've seen this match quite a few times before, but for me, obviously Backlash WrestleMania. Let's do this again. I think let's not settle it here. I think there's a lot more to this.
Give it some more time. I think next time, give it like 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It'd have say there's something more forward to going towards it, but. Like I love Kevin Owens, man. Kevin Owens for me is like he's my number. Like he's a guy that I can relate to, and I think he should be top of the card. I mean, so the fact that he cut a promo on a banana at the start of the year, it's just like the guy's unreal, and it's just, I just feel like he's wasted doing stuff like this. Like, and this just proves it because he puts on these great matches with Sami Zayn, but nothing will pay off for him because we probably won't see him tomorrow night on Raw now.
Potentially, I'm going to go to the comments we've got here. Got a good one here from Don Mills. Good afternoon to you, Don. Thanks for checking that stream. Logan Paul has done exactly the same as Mike Tyson and Mike Austin's feud from WrestleMania 14. Yes, he was. WWE made a great decision there because if Logan Paul would have been the one that was cheering with Kevin Owens, the crowd would have booed probably based on the response he got, I believe. Got one here from Steve from SCW. Good afternoon to you, Steve. I hope you're well. Thanks for checking that stream. KO needs to win Money in the Bank this year. 100% agree. I watched the Jericho thing with Steve Austin today. I actually watched that today.
I've only watched the first half. Yeah,
I'm not going to give any sort of spoilers, but there is a clip where they talk about sort of Jericho and his match with Kevin Owens. And you forget Kevin Owens was an ex-Universal Champion. We need to get him back to that kind of level. Yep,
exactly where he should be. But 100%. It's just But it's just the problem is it's as long as Vince is in charge. If you don't look like a Vince guy, if you ain't your Lex Lugers and all this kind of stuff, but certain people are going to struggle. Keith Lee, your Kevin Owens, they're all going to struggle to be top of the card main eventers.
100% agree. This was a really cool kind of segment. We have Matt Riddle backstage. He's there talking to Great Khali, and then we get RVD. The RVD Matt Riddle combo, excellent. I don't know what Great Khali was doing there. Take him out of the segment, and I think it's a perfect segment for me.
Translator for Khali, apparently. Because he's bilingual or something.
I just thought it was a great That was one of the great WrestleMania backstage moments. Probably one of the better ones of the weekend. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what you thought. It was funny.
The website that sells RVD's papers that he sells crashed apparently right after that segment.
I'm not surprised. They probably got commission or something. I think there
exactly.
You go. Put it on lollies or something, doesn't it? Let's be fair. But no, definitely moving kind of forward with this then. So we obviously had this United States title match, Sheamus versus Riddle. This match was absolutely incredible. I've got to give it to them. They really pulled it out much better than that stuff they've done on Raw the previous weeks, if that makes sense. I was just amazed how many kickouts did Riddle do. He kicked out of near enough anything, kicked out of continually, but in the end, we get a new United States champion. So Sheamus is the United States champion. I didn't see that coming. Well done for the prediction. I got that wrong. I thought they'd go with Riddle. But for me, it's the right move. Sheamus has done some great work with Drew. He's done a load of great work. And I think this should be fine. I think it was time probably to get the belt off Riddle. And I think Sheamus could be a great champion. What were your thoughts of the match? And the title change?
Absolutely mad. I mean, the finish alone, where obviously you had Riddle doing that moonsault and then Sheamus bro kicks him in an inverted position is just immense. It gave me flashbacks to Adam Cole Ricochet when Adam Cole hit a super kick on Ricochet doing the same thing, and it's just, oh man, this match was great. I'm 180 on Sheamus now. Months ago when he was just feuding with Drew, I was checked out. I was like, oh man, his work has just been great. And like I said to you, this is more than deserved for Sheamus. All this hard work he's put in since January, and even commentary made note of it, that they said that his fine work that he's been doing since January or whenever it was, they were like, yeah, man, he deserved that. Much applause to him.
I think it just had it already. It had everything. Going to go to the comments here. I've got a great one here from Don Mills. Riddle versus Sheamus finish was epic. As you said, Steve, I agree with that. That's great analysis there, Dom. It was an epic finish. But crucially, we've got a new United States champion. A report has broke out today that apparently WWE didn't want Riddle to be the United States champion anyway. The original plan was Keith Lee. As I've discussed before on the podcast. But let's see what Riddle does. Let's see if he's in the 24/7 division with R-Truth. Maybe let's hope he can do something. But great title change. This is the right move from WWE.
Does this mean we get Keith Lee Sheamus now in a rivalry for that United States Championship?
That is if Keith Lee's ever coming back. He was on the watch along, so we'll see.
Yeah, so I don't know why. I know he's been out. They reckon it's been reported. It's like health reasons, like COVID and all that.
It's long COVID, apparently. Yeah, I don't know how true that is. That we can't say factually it's long COVID, exactly, but we believe that. Going to quickly go to the comments here. Got a good one here from Steve. Thank you for your comments, Steve. Sheamus versus Keith Lee coming. Should be a great feud. 100% agree. That'll be a great feud. They'll be hard hitting, definitely. Quickly going into this match, and so this was a very interesting match. We had this Nigerian drum fight, Apollo Crews versus Big E. This was one of the matches that has been probably one of the best built going into WrestleMania besides the main event. Really interesting concept. We obviously had a load of drums outside, which was fun. Wiley mimed his way for Big E's entrance, which I thought was entertaining. Crucial parts of it, it was very hard hitting, didn't go very long. And crucially, we got a return. We got none other than the returning Baba Tunde, aka Dabba-Kato. He was there. He's now back from nowhere. The commentators act like he's a brand new character, which was quite fun to see. It's almost like you've never seen him run the ground before. This guy's obviously got a new gimmick. We can give you the gimmick name if you don't want a spoiler. Just probably mute for about a minute. So this guy's going to be going under the gimmick name of, this one's brilliant, the Commander Aziz. That's going to be comedy to me. It sounds absolutely hilarious. Aziz,
I think it's pronounced. Yeah. It's,
okay. What do you think of the match and the new character, the return of Dabba-Kato?
The fact that a single drum wasn't used in the match should kind of...
It was. There was one spot. There's one spot where he kind of got like... That. He got something. I think Big E got something and threw it at him. They did use one spot.
But yeah, loads of places have reported that WWE did. Like I said, WWE didn't know what this match was going to be, and it just ended up being a hardcore match. But yeah, the fact that the first thing they do, the pair of them, is they jump out, grab kendo sticks, and just start wailing on each other at the start. Yeah, just immense, man. It was a great match. Like everyone sort of predicted, it was Apollo's time. Big E's been on a long run with that Intercontinental title now, and I'm thinking like Big E's next step is maybe going on to be a babyface up against Roman, because I was looking at sort of what's coming up, and there's not a lot of baby faces that sort of could step up to that next game. And I know
Cesaro is the one I think they're going to do. Cesaro and Roman's probably the next one, but I agree with Big E. The thing is, the way this match ended, this ain't over. This is carrying on. You can see based on the fact that it wasn't a clean win for Apollo.
There'll probably be a follow-up match this Friday or something. You know, we always get this, don't we, on the follow-up shows? You always get, here's a repeat from WrestleMania or whatever, just for the sake of it. And it's just like, I'm not being funny. You feel these time with these repeat matches when there's talent not being used on the show.
I think the interesting thing, I always thought that Dabba-Kato would be involved in some sort of capacity in this WrestleMania. I thought the Shane Cage thing would happen, but see him in this spot. This guy hasn't been seen since September, last in Raw Underground. I'm a fan of getting new wrestlers coming in like this way. It's a big spot for Dabba-Kato. I think it fits with the lineage. I'm just surprised if they were going to go down a route of a stable helping Apollo. He had that tag team with him the time he debuted with that new gimmick. Why didn't they just do it with them, if that makes sense? I get this is a cheap way for Big E to lose, and it doesn't really affect Big E, which I agree. I think that's a fair point. But
with this,
we'll see what they do. I'll say after you.
Just say with this whole Apollo thing, I'm getting sort of flashbacks to the Iron Sheik. The 90s Sheik when he was in, do you know what I mean? When he was
General Adnan.
That's
SummerSlam 1990, or was it 91?
Yeah, that's when obviously he's got Commodore Aziz now, and there's going to be probably a third person to it. There's going to just be another character that's got a new name or whatever. That's what I'm getting flashbacks to now.
I'm getting the Truth Commission, man. That's what I'm feeling. Let's see if it works or not. Definitely. But I'm going to go to the comments. Got quite a few comments here. Kobe talks. Hey everyone, good afternoon to you, Kobe. Thank you for checking out the stream. I hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed WrestleMania. Got a good one here as well from Kobe again. Roman Reigns versus Big E at SummerSlam. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think Roman Reigns obviously holds on to the belt. It's either going to probably be Roman and Big E or Roman and Cesaro. I think either way would be good. It's just how they get Big E out of this feud. He's now outnumbered, so they need to give him somebody to help, which they may do this week on SmackDown. Got a comment here from Martin Carrillo. Good afternoon, Martin. Thank you for checking out the stream. So Money Back is delayed a bit. Apparently, we'll see a surprise tonight. I could see either return debut or call up. Let's hope so. We're going to go into sort of potentially. There is a rumored return we can go into, which I think everyone kind of knows, but we'll go into it anyway. I'd be interested to know your thoughts in the comments about it. Steve from SCW got a good one here. Cesaro backlash, Big E long-term goal. Big E be the one to beat Roman, cement him as a star. 100% agree. I think it's, as I said on the Rated for Our Wrestling stream yesterday, this is a Big E that hasn't lost a match since July last year. I think that was the last time he lost to Cesaro. So this guy don't lose. So the fact he's lost on a fluke, and Apollo was the right one to get the win. Have you got anything else you add about the match before we kind of move forward?
No, I said, yeah, you've hit it on there with the old with his streak and stuff, and it took the fact that it took interference for Big E to lose a match. They're building him up to be something massive. They're probably going to keep him back away from the New Day again from another year, so they're probably going to split him again. You're probably going to get New Day stay on Raw for the next 12 months. Big E's probably going to stay on SmackDown for the next 12 months on the basis that they don't sort of swap champions, and then Roman ends up going to Raw and Bobby goes to SmackDown. But yeah, they're finally making something out of Big E, which is good to see, because he's been, like, ever since his days in NXT doing the 5 count, he's been a really good wrestler as well.
No, I agree. I think it was to be fair, the match didn't go long, but it was a good enough match for what they did. I think it's left me exciting. They've created something. They've created something to a talking point out of it, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, because it was a hardcore match, you can get away with it not being so long, because obviously they're taking a lot more ferocity with the weapon strikes and all this kind of stuff. So you can kind of get away with the time limit on that one.
Definitely. So we obviously had this Raw Women's title match, Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Didn't get very long. This was a very solid match. Crucially, Rhea Ripley got the win. And for me, it's what they needed to do. The crowd really responded well to it. Rhea, she deserved to get the win here. Asuka, as you said, I've said on other streams, she doesn't defend the title. This is a sort of a first title defense, sort of in a long time. So I'm really, really happy she won the belt. What was your kind of thoughts of the match? Did you enjoy it?
I was slightly underwhelmed with it, to be honest with you. Like, I would have expected a bit more from what it was. I mean, like, you had Rhea Ripley doing a lot of trash talking and kind of working heel. And
she's meant to be a heel. That's the brief they give her. She's meant to be a heel, but then she's playing babyface in promos after and stuff. Sorry, Steve, carry on. Sorry to
go for it, man. Yeah, it's just to say it was, but then you've got her being a face and a lot of kind of all this kind of stuff, and it's just I was underwhelmed by it. Like I said, we still had high spots. You had Asuka doing that DDT off the apron to the outside of the mat. It was a great spot. I just felt slightly underwhelmed with this one. Like, I felt it could have been a bit more than what it was, but yeah, still the right decision at the end. Rhea deserved to be champion. I guarantee this is probably going to be a repeat on Raw tonight. Is you're going to get a repeat of this match? It's going to be Asuka versus Ripley again. That's a match that's guaranteed to be. Oh, here's a repeat. It's written in. It's just an unwritten rule with these kinds of matches.
100%. I'm going to go to the next segment. This is a controversial segment. So obviously we had Bayley there. She's there obviously with Hulk Hogan. And it's one of them things where Bayley all weekend has done pointless kind of segments, which there's been no real payoff. So we obviously get Bayley there. The crowd are there. Everyone can tell. Everyone knows what they want to happen. Everyone's thinking Becky Lynch come out. In the end, we get the Bellas come out. Bellas destroyed Bayley, and that's kind of the end of the segment. I think for me, on a disappointment scale, I was disappointed 10. I think this is WrestleMania. This is your one time to get Becky Lynch in front of a crowd, because you're going to be in the Union Center with no fans tonight. It's one of them things where, what's the point of bringing her back to the Performance Center? I think, or the Union Center with no fans. I think if they're going to do that return tonight, then it's a waste of time. This segment with Bayley, though, I feel sorry for Bayley. Her getting disrespected by legends, it really, really annoyed me, because Bayley's fantastic. She should have been in the ring on this card, not doing this stupid backstage R-Truth type gimmick. What's your thoughts? Just
planting the seeds for this Bella return, man. It was pointless. Like you said, she was disrespected yesterday by the NWO. I'm not being funny, but what right has Titus O'Neil got to disrespect her as well? Titus O'Neil, when it comes to professional wrestling and being on TV and stuff, Titus O'Neil was rarely, like, I think the last feud I ever see him have was that one with Darren Young. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? That was probably the last time he was prominent on TV. And for Bayley, who's been like one of the cornerstones of the women's wrestling, like you said, to just get disrespected in this way is just not right. And as well, like from just saying having Hulk Hogan out there and Titus O'Neil and the Bellas, it's not right for Bayley, man. Bayley should be have a lot more respect on her name.
I think the comparison I'll make, she was almost like a Matt Riddle backstage when he gets ignored by everybody. Like when he gets brushed off, it was that comparison. It's almost like an annoying fly. You squatty, you know what I mean? It shouldn't be for Bayley. Bayley was so good. She's one of the best women's champions ever. In terms of, obviously, the Bellas come back. They do destroy Bayley. this is furthermore playing into what I've been saying for the last few weeks. Bellas are coming back. It may not be straight away, but they are they want to come back in the ring. It looks like Nikki's injury with the neck has gone. She took some contact. So, are you excited about the Bellas coming back? And were you happy with them in this spot rather than Becky Lynch? Do you think they should have done a Becky Lynch with the live fans there?
Becky Lynch would have gone down better in front of a live crowd. But be honest with you, I'm not the Bellas' biggest fans. I mean, when they did the first ever Women's Rumble, and you had what was it? It was Nikki, Brie, Sasha, and Asuka as the final four. And I was just not all for this at all. I was like, this is not what the Royal Rumble's for, especially if I get you can have icons come back, but I'm not being funny. Trish came in at 30 and she was eliminated well before those two. And Trish is a much bigger legend. And I'm not the big Bella's biggest fans. I mean, I'm not saying it's a short-term story that it's not going to pay off.
I think the last thing I'm going to kind of say about Becky Lynch on the stream is the fact that she was there on Saturday backstage. That's kind of confirmed, but I get she may not be ready to go back in the ring, but there's nothing stopping her coming back in this spot and bring her back at Backlash WrestleMania, if that makes sense. I just don't get why they couldn't have done that. It would have been a far better feel-good than the Bellas.
Yeah, exactly. You would say just an appearance would have been nice because everyone, like, no one's seen her since, when was it, the Raw after Money in the Bank last year. So, yeah, it just would have been a nice sort of hi, I'm still here, like kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, mind you, to say just having Hulk Hogan on my telly is bad enough. Yeah,
definitely. I think the point of the host is a waste of time. But let's get some positivity in the stream. I'm going to go to some comments. Got some great comments here. Got a great one from Martin Carrillo. Do you guys maybe see Drew going to SmackDown so he's the one to beat Rowan, or should it be someone else? I'll answer first, then I'll let you answer, Steve. In my opinion, the Drew versus Roman Reigns match at Survivor Series with 2 weeks build was really, really good. I think that was them two are the two most protected wrestlers on the main roster besides Bobby Lashley. So for me, that is the Hulk Hogan of Ultimate Warrior these days. So I think I could like to see that, but I don't think the problem is if they move Drew over from Raw, who have they got there? I guess they've got Lashley. It depends if Lashley's a big enough star really to carry that missing void, because obviously Drew is probably your John Cena at this point. What do you want to add to that comment, Steve?
You could see him going there, but I personally wouldn't want to. Like I said, I want him to stay on. I want him to stay on Raw and do a tag team with Sheamus, but obviously now Sheamus is US champion. That's not going to happen. It's just I wouldn't want to see Roman and Drew together because it's basically going to be the same as what you've had with Bobby and Drew. If I'm honest, it's just going to be two big guys. We've seen it before, and yeah, they can have great matches. But I'd rather keep these two apart, if I'm honest. I want these two to stay apart for another 2 years before having a big confrontation. I mean, you might get it at Survivor Series because obviously they do the champion versus champion. But then, again, this is long-term storytelling. You should be putting this towards a future story. Say it not Mania next year, but the following year. Like, give them another year apart, then put them on the same brand, build to the Mania after. You could have a really great story going in for 2 years' time.
Definitely. While we're on the subject, I've got one update regarding Drew McIntyre. The Drew versus Lashley Finn's going to be carrying on, so they're going to have a rematch, I think, at Backlash WrestleMania. I think there was a press conference either today or yesterday where Bobby was hinting he wants Drew again, so the match isn't finished. They're going to do that again, which will be great. Let's hope Bobby retains again. They can't give the belt off Bobby yet.
Oh, hopefully. Definitely not. Yeah, they can't take it off him, man. He's doing too good with it at the minute.
Definitely. Going to go to a comment we've got here. Got a good one from Kobe Talks. Thank you for your comment, Kobe. Maybe Cesaro moves to Raw and feuds with Bobby Lashley. That would be phenomenal. That'd be really so good. I'd like to see that, definitely.
Yeah,
let's break this down. So let's go into probably one of the matches of the weekend. This is the main event. Triple threat, Daniel Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns. Going into this match, my excitement level was 10. I was so excited. This is one of the first matches where we've generally had a chance of Roman Reigns potentially losing the belt. They've done a great job and story up building this up. Edge's win at the Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan winning the Elimination Chamber. Going in, you never knew who was going to win. And I love this. I love large parts of this. I thought it was very, very good. Crucially, we ended up getting Roman Reigns kind of retaining. The crowd went crazy for Edge when he did the spear. Jey Uso got involved. I'm going to go to a comment I've got here as well, Steve, just before I go to you, Steve. Don Mills makes a great point, so let me just get this up for you. The comment that Don Mills made was regarding Jey Uso, so let me just get that one up for you now.
It's probably about what I'm just about to say.
He said he was really annoyed that Jey Uso got involved in the US title match. WrestleMania should be long, clean wrestling matches. I agree. I think the Jey Uso interference was a bit annoying.
I think this is future storytelling though, because I think it's going to be Jey that cost Roman that title going forward. At some point in a match in the future, Jey Uso is going to be the reason why Roman Reigns loses it. I can see that being it's the only sort of strong way without Roman taking a pin or a submission. It's the only way that Roman can lose the title and still be credible going forward is having someone else costing him it. And I say it'll be like, for instance, Jey Uso getting involved. I can totally back that agreement. Jey Uso should not be involved. I mean, this was the whole thing with the Hurt Business. Why did the Hurt Business have a 2-on-1 handicap match against Drew to not be outside the ring at WrestleMania, but then a week later they're broken up, disbanded, and Cedric and Shelton have been thrown into the mid-card vortex that is the loser locker room. But yet you've got Jey Uso doing all this stuff all the time, man. And yeah, it's just ruining perfectly good matches because you could have got this match would have been fine without Jey Uso. But yeah, like I said, I think Jey Uso is going to be the reason why Roman loses that title in the future.
I'm really happy that Roman kind of retained. I think it was a really good move. I didn't like the interference. The interference, I get that he's a cheap champion and all this lot, but it's where they go next. Who can beat Roman Reigns now? This is a Roman Reigns that this was the one chance to get a belt off him. But for me, we need to do Drew versus Edge. It's not Drew, sorry. We need to do Daniel Bryan versus Edge at Backlash WrestleMania. That's one. And we can put Roman Reigns in there with somebody else, whether you go to Cesaro straight away or somebody else. Because for me, Roman needs to hold the belt now for a while. He needs to hold it. I think he's going. Yeah, he could go as far to hold it as WrestleMania next year potentially if they are going to do this Brock Roman or The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I think Roman's not going to lose the belt anytime soon. What do you want to add?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that before Daniel Bryan was added to it, I had Roman retain him. And it was only when Daniel Bryan was added that I thought this was the one chance for Roman to lose it. So, don't get me wrong, this is perfect. Like, Roman's character work in this match, like, finally getting booed the correct way for being a heel is immense. And this is going to do great for his the character going forward when it's on TV and stuff. As for next feuds, there could be a number of people. Big E, Cesaro. There's even I don't even know if there's like without looking at the roster, I couldn't tell you if there's anyone else that could be in there as well. Kevin Owens again, maybe, but I don't see. I couldn't see an arc as to why KO would be back in that title picture again. But yeah, like I said, definitely Edge versus.
I'll tell you what I would book if I was doing it. If I was in charge of WWE, this is what I would book for you for one of your main events of Backlash WrestleMania. You do Edge versus Daniel Bryan, and you put Roman Reigns as a special guest referee. Why not? That'll be interesting just to see what they do. But there is some positivity to Jey Uso getting involved just before we kind of end the show. This got Jey Uso a spot on the pay-per-view in a crucial spot. He won the Andre Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown this week. It got him out there on camera. But for me, I was happy to see Roman win. A lot of people said Edge. I was happy with Roman. Roman's been probably one of the best champions WWE have had for a while. I think he's been a great champion. His win-loss streak is so protected. He's up there with Goldberg. And for me, it's one of them things, really. I think they had to do that. I don't know how you felt when you saw Roman retain.
No, I was perfectly happy with Roman retain. Like I said, since he's been on this heel run and he's been delivering when I turn on Friday Night SmackDown to watch Roman Reigns, then I know he's doing good work. And I'm like I said, I would have been fine with whoever won this match, but Roman Reigns retaining, I suppose it makes the most sense if you look at it in the long run. I'm not being funny. Edge is a Hall of Famer that hasn't got many years left in him. Like, he's only just come back after 9 years out injured, and then you've got Daniel Bryan, who's supposedly that's his last Mania. It made more sense for Roman to retain because he's going to be the face of the company going forward for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Definitely going to go to the comments. Got a good one here from Mike Rudo. Thank you for the comment, Martin. Do you guys see Edge as a babyface since you got Cheating's entrance or a heel? For me, if they're going to do this Daniel Bryan Edge feud, they need to keep Edge as sort of a heel for me. I think him going back to a babyface, unless he's going to face Roman, maybe at Money in the Bank, then maybe. What's your thoughts of the comments, Steve?
Yeah, no, it's definitely right. He should be staying as a heel going forward. If he's going to be Daniel Bryan, he needs to stay as the face in that feud because it just makes the sense. We've had playing off the last since January with the whole Rumble win and stuff and all this story. It just will continue on a story arc for Edge. It makes more sense.
Definitely. So the last kind of thing before we end the show, we've got last two things to talk about. I'm going to just ask your final score of WrestleMania. That'll be the first thing. What was your final score and match of the night?
Score, I'm probably going to go for. I'm going to say a 6 tonight because I think there was a lot more wrong with it than there was good in how I felt about it. But match of the night, if it's either the main event or the KO match. Like I said, I'd probably have to go with the main event just because the KO match wasn't long enough, which is a real shame.
I'm definitely going to go 7 out of 10. I think that main event was incredible. If we ignore if you ignore the first 2 matches and it was just the rest of the card, this would be a stellar show. But for me, definitely a 7 out of 10. That main event was probably match of the night for me. I felt it was very good. Just going to go to the comments just before we do the last thing today. Last discussion point, if anyone wants to stay around and watch, is going to be Raw tonight, the new commentary team, and possible NXT call-ups. We'll have a brief discussion. It's a big Raw tonight, so we'll have a brief discussion just for the last 5 minutes of the show. So let me just go to the comments quickly. Got one from Steve, SCW. Thank you for your question, Steve. Do you prefer the Superstar shake-up in April, or do you prefer the draft in October? What are your thoughts on the rosters right now? Happy to keep the same or shake it up. Need your opinion. For me, I think, although it'd be great to shake things up in April, they've got a lot sort of going on at the moment coming out of WrestleMania where they can do stuff. So I'd say hold off to October. If anybody does need work, it's Raw. Raw have got a lot of TV hours to fill. They do need to sort out that women's division and get sort of regular contenders for Rhea Ripley now. And the Raw tag team division needs help. So unify the tag belts. I'm sure somebody else said that on the stream. If that's yourself, Steve, whoever said it, credit to them. What do you think of the comments, Steve?
When's Survivor Series normally? November. Yeah, October you shouldn't be doing a brand split a month before you're supposed to be doing a brand versus brand pay-per-view when you've just had stars cross over from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. It's pretty stupid. April is, again, like you said, it's too soon after Mania, really. It sort of needs to find that sweet spot, maybe probably just after SummerSlam, like literally the week following SummerSlam, because then you've got sort of 2 months towards Survivor Series that would make it a lot more plausible. But roster-wise, the problem you're going to have with a lot of them is you've got to find matchups for people. Like, if you take Drew out of the main event on Raw with Bobby, who's your next big face that could take on Bobby? And then the same with Roman. You've now taken out sort of Edge and Daniel Bryan, who's your next big baby face on SmackDown?
Cesaro, little Big E are the two. But Big E's engaged now with still Apollo and Commander Aziz, basically. At the moment.
But then, like you said, they need to knock this thing on the head with the women's divisions. Like the women's division, the main event scene is fine. It's just what they do with the rest of them. They broke up Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the one legitimate tag team they had at the time that were a tag team from NXT and wherever they come from. They split them up, and then they've gone and put Billie Kay back in it. I think the first week after they put Billie Kay in a tag team with someone else, or one of the two of them.
Would have been with. It would have been with somebody else, basically.
Yeah, and it was just like, what was the point in breaking up a tag team to do that? So that's one thing they need to focus on is the women's tag team division. I would probably say unify the men's tag team division because
100%.
they've got too many. They've got too many sort of just put together teams, which isn't what it should be really. Mid-card scene, no, you're fine with having a title on each brand. You just need to get more of the stars on the show that are not getting TV time. Your Ricochets, your Aleister Blacks, obviously Keith Lee when he comes back. Ali now he's out of Retribution. He should be pushing more towards that. Cedric, that he's out of Hurt Business. He probably won't see him again there for 3 or 4 months. But do you know what I mean? These are all people that should be fighting for your mid-card titles.
Definitely. I've got one last thing I'm going to add on that question. If they are going to do a brand split, they need to involve NXT. WWE wrestlers that are not being used need to go to NXT and vice versa. That's kind of my last kind of point on that. Have you got anything else you want to add before we get to this Raw show?
Yeah, I mean, when they did the Survivor Series, 2 years ago, where it was the 3 brands competing, this was obviously just before NXT, I think, was launching on the USA Network, which was why they'd done it. And obviously, NXT picked up the win at Survivor Series that year. Why they didn't do it again last year, I don't know. I'm not being funny, but you now have 3 major TV shows. You should be trying to push all 3 TV shows. Maybe it might change this year because NXT's moved to Tuesday.
Yeah,
but I couldn't understand why they took NXT out of that.
Okay, we're going to hit this Raw show, and then we're going to get one last question. I've got one last question in the comments, which we'll cover. So this Raw show tonight, a big show coming off WrestleMania. There's two or three talking points. The 2 or 3 talking points. Number one would be, are we going to get any sort of returns? So is Becky Lynch going to debut? That's a possibility. She was obviously backstage. I can't see that. Do you see anybody debuting tonight or returning tonight?
Debuting tonight, you could have, if you was to look at NXT, you've got Io Shirai, Adam Cole.
I think. Adam Cole. I'd say rule him out unless the Triple H Shawn Michaels press conference where they said there's more business to be done with that feud. But swerve.
Finn Balor could be after he's now lost the title. Maybe even a Velveteen Dream. I'm not being funny. He's been off NXT for a while. I know he's got a lot of controversy.
I can't see it. think his
But
time's
yeah,
gone.
it's just a name that you could potentially bring
100%.
up.
I think it's going to be a really interesting choice, but for me, I think if you do Io Shirai, she's the one really I'd love to see go up. But it'll be interesting what they do in terms of the change to Raw. Obviously, have got new commentary teams as well tonight, so obviously we do know that Corey Graves and Byron Saxton are going to be on Raw now with a new gentleman. He's called Adnan Virk from ESPN. Apparently, he's taken over Tom Phillips' role. Tom Phillips is still with WWE. He's going to be doing 205 Live, so slight change up. An interesting note. Graves is going to be replacing Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, obviously, is going to be somewhere. They haven't said where, so hopefully he'll be back in the ring at some point. I think that could be an interesting.
Have they said he's replacing Graves on SmackDown?
Not that I saw. Let me see if it says it. Sorry, 2 seconds. No, I don't think so. It doesn't. It's not clear if Joe Phillips will move to Friday nights. They haven't confirmed where Joe's going as of yet. But
yeah, because that's the only thing in it. But he's putting Phillips on 205 Live. Jesus Christ, you might as well just give him his last paycheck and send him on his way now, because he's never going to do anything on 205.
I think what a Raw to debut a commentary team though. Let's hope it's good. I'm excited to see it. Makes this week Raw good. Just going to quickly go to the last 2 comments just before we end the show here. Got 2 really good comments here. Martin Carrillo, thank you for your question again. Who will you book Bianca at Backlash WrestleMania against? For me, there's only one person based on her booking at WrestleMania. Ignore that. Bayley versus Bianca 100%. Is the one. You could do Carmella, but she's in this tag team with Billie Kay. I don't think it's right. I would say everyone would say do Sasha Bianca again, but no, you've got to save that for SummerSlam. This is an Austin Rock type match. You can't keep having this match again and again. I think the magic will wear off, although we're definitely going to see it again. Would you say, have you got anyone else you want to add, or just Bayley?
No, Bayley makes the total amount of sense now, especially with everything they were doing backstage at Mania. It's the 100% way to go.
Perfect. And Don Mills, the very last comment today, Edge should have a singles match with Roman. Yeah, 100% they could do that. It just depends if they want to paint that story again and how they get Daniel Bryan out of it as well. I think you'd agree.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they should. Like I said, it could be a follow-up on Friday, but I very much doubt it. But yeah, Edge should say, I very much doubt you actually see Edge win a world title now.
Definitely. So thank you very much all for your comments. It's been really great to see the interaction. I really hope you guys have all enjoyed WrestleMania. I'll be back obviously tomorrow with Steve from SCW. We'll have a Raw report that should be entertaining based on the feud and build we've got. Steve, I want to listen. I want to thank you so much for doing the show.
No problems, man.
Thank you all for joining and watching us. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Enjoy Raw tonight and obviously stay safe. And thank you all for the support. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up really help. It really promotes the channel, which is what I'm trying to do at the moment. And it also obviously gives makes the video a bit more easy to find, which is good. And if you haven't, please subscribe. But thank you for watching. This has been Jonesy Chats Wrestling with George and Steve. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and take care. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.